Hi campers, hope you're doing well. I'll talk to you from the car. It's still quite early this morning. What is it? 7:20. I'm back out on another camp. It's chucking it down with rain. I'm currently parked in a supermarket car park. So I'm a little bit early for where I'm headed. And I've just stopped off for a quick breakfast. But it's the 4th of December and I'm out for a special camp this weekend. It's a group event, this one, and it's all in the name of charity and raising money for Cancer Research UK. It's been organised by Neil, also known, who's otherwise known as Greencraft on YouTube and Instagram or what have you. And he's organised what I think will be a great event. It's a celebration of the life of Mors Kochanski, who sadly lost his battle with cancer some 2 years ago to this weekend. And it's a great time to sort of celebrate his life and what he achieved in his life. Those that some of my viewers might not know who Mors Kochanski is, and he's kind of better known, if you like, as Ray Mears' cool granddad. Not in real life, but you know what I mean. He was an old boy who really was an expert in his field in terms of pioneering what the world that we now call bushcraft, developing a sort of myriad of survival and techniques and primitive and crafts, with his sort of specialist knowledge in sort of being the northern woods around Canada, where he was from. But it's a great time to get out. It's not great at the moment. It's absolutely chucking it down, but I'm hopeful it'll get better today. And as part of this event, a lot of us are going to be sleeping in something that a shelter system that Mors devises called the Supershelter. I'm not quite going to explain that to you on the camera now, but I'll show it to you later once I've got it set up, because it will make more sense. But it's quite a clever sort of basic shelter system that should keep me warm through the night, and nothing but my wool blanket. Yeah, I've got my wool blanket out again for a camp this weekend, folks. Last month I went out camping and I said next time out I'm going to treat myself to some luxuries. But this time I had to sort of I've got the wool blanket again, simply because it's a charity event, and it'll be a good event show, and there'll be a few of us doing it as well, so it'll be good fun, I should think. And it'd be great to meet Neil again, and a few other people coming down. I'm sure I think there's about 30 of us coming to this event. And I know that Neil's got some other things going on during the day, and hopefully if I can pluck up the courage to film in amongst a big group of people, I'll bring you along for the journey. So I'll bring you back in a little while once I'm in the woods. Hopefully this rain will do one, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, so bye for now.
He says. So we'll start her like that, and you can literally just feed it tiny little twigs. Alright. And literally, I mean, you've got to understand this bit's quite seasoned, yeah. So you're going to get a, you're going to get quite a, a nice burn on it. But also as well, as you can see already, the flame's starting to come out the top. Now you wouldn't put your... No, hold himself.
Years ago I bought one of their duck down top quilts and under quilts. Still got it hanging up.
What we're going to do is going to pick it up, we're going to walk it up to the tree. This goes that side, and goes this side. Ideally what we want to do is get it so that we're not
Don't run away. It's going to make me climb, isn't he? So then what we do, now you can hand me the run up. So we then use our rungs and we put them in. Right, so they just sit on those hitches. Like so. You put the next sort of rungs in as you climb. Now when you climb with these, you don't stand in the middle. You stand on the edge of the rung. This is where we test C. Next rung, please.
My glamorous assistant.
As you go further up, you're putting more weight on. Is that a cracking noise? No, no.
You're alright. It's just your bum cheek squeaking.
Here we go. Yeah. Next one up.
That's one for Des.
Lunge, that is.
The next step.
That was a little bit wide. I might be a bit ambitious.
Come on, what's wrong with you? Get on with it.
What's the worst that'll happen?
Get your knee on it. You know you want to.
Oh, no.
Go on, go for it.
I need another one in there. But anyway, you now see the basic principle of building the ladder as you go. Remembering not to put your rungs in too wide. They're actually, they take a bit of getting used to because they do bounce around a little bit. But it's a really good little project. If you've got a regular base camp where you need to put up parachutes or tarps, etc., have the poles cut ready, laying on the ground, and it's there for every time you use it.
I was going to say, because it's so.
There we go, there's a super shelter. Bit rustic. But inside, it's. Oh, get inside. It's a bit saggy. It'll do for tonight, and all I'm going to do, just light some candles by my bedside, and hopefully that will add some warmth. But it's warm in here now, and I'm just sitting here, so we'll see how it goes. But the idea of this super shelter is you've got the blanket here, the plastic here. Ideally you'd have a fire out front to reflect the heat in, and it would create a nice warm atmosphere radiating around here. I'll close that door off before bed. That's me entry and exit, and we'll see how it goes. Bye for now. Here we are then, folks, in a little village of super shelters. Looking good. There's mine. It's like we've nicked a load of shopping bags. They don't look the smartest things, they're not very Instagrammable, but they keep you warm, and that's the important thing. Got you caught on a twig there. So that's us for the evening. Should be fun. And then just down the end there, John and Chris are set up. Chris is the heavy snorer, so I'm glad he's down there. Only joking, Chris. I'm just as bad. But yeah, so those guys are set up over there, and my presumption, oops, is that they're going to be sharing a fire just to make it a bit easier. Yeah, that's looking good. Very nice. Hi campers, hope you're all doing well. So it's been about 3 days since I got back from the last bit of footage you saw on this video. Obviously I'm not in the woods, as you can perhaps guess. I'm in the shed. I'm in Barney's Bimbles HQ, and I suppose I should start with an apology, because I kind of did a bit of filming on that camp over the weekend, and I got a bit of footage in. It wasn't my best effort, if I'm honest, but I got enough there, I think, to make a bit of a video, but I didn't have an ending to it. I kind of filmed up to the point at which I got my shelter set up and showed you the inside of that and all the rest of it, and then I kind of got a bit carried away with the sort of social side of the camp, talking to all the people that many of whom I've not met before, catching up with Des and Chris and John and the others, just having a good time, and I didn't really prioritise filming, if I'm honest with you, so sorry about that. But I thought I'd just film this segment now. Just finished tidying away some of my kit and getting it dried, because it was quite a wet night. Still got my paracord here from the camp, from the ridge line on the tarp, which is still a bit damp, so I'm going to unspool that in a minute and just leave that out, hang that up to dry as well. But it was a really good camp. Massive thanks to Neil Greencraft for organising it. It was a great opportunity to raise money for cancer. I looked yesterday and he's sort of raised almost £1,200 for cancer research, which is an amazing effort, and great to see the sort of bushcraft outdoors community pulling together like that. It's emphasises all the reasons why I quite like being a part of that community. So yeah, big thanks to Neil for that. And he mentioned on Sunday that he's thinking about making it an annual event as well, and yeah, I'm well up for that. Count me in for that for sure, and I'll be only too happy to donate again next year and keep things moving along a bit. And it was a great time as well. Some of the footage that I've got in the video here is of Neil showing us how to make a ladder with some rope and some sticks, which is really simple. 2 simple knots is all you needed to know for that, which is quite surprising. I thought it'd be a lot more complicated than that. Des showed us how to make his rocket stove, which worked really well, and yeah, thanks to Des for that as well. And then it was just really nice sort of chatting to a lot of the other people there, enjoying the woodland down at Black Wolf Survival. Craig's got a really nice woodland down there, so thanks again to Craig for letting us use that woodland too. It's going nicely. And then as for the super shelter then, because I didn't really report back on how I got on with that, and I think it went really well actually. It was a success. And I didn't rely on the fire for my super shelter. Others around the camp, they set their shelters up in the way that they was going to have a fire out front, and that they would have to then get up once or twice during the night to feed that fire and keep the fire burning. The other method, which is what I use and a few others used, was about having some candles inside the shelter to provide some heating and keep the warmth in the shelter as well. And that's what I used. I used my candle lantern here, just my UCO candle lantern. Had that burning all through the night. I've got to clean that a little bit, as you can see, but it burnt. It's burning all night. This is a brand new candle, and I think I've gone through about 3/4 of the candle there, and that worked quite well actually. That was kicking out a fair amount of heat. And so with that and my wool blanket, I was actually pretty comfortable for the night. I wouldn't say I was toasty warm, but I certainly wasn't cold either. And the fascinating lesson I learned from that experience was that if you look back on my last video to my previous camp in November, I slept under a tarp with the same wool blanket and the same clothing, but I didn't have no other forms of heating. The overnight temperature on that camp was around about 10 degrees, and I was on the wrong side of cold for that camp. It was certainly quite chilly, and that I kind of felt was the limits as to taking beyond the limit as to where the wool blanket should be. So for this camp just gone with the super shelter, temperatures were floating on or just above freezing, and excuse me, I've got a boil on here. Yeah. Pour out your cup of tea. Yeah, so for this camp the temperatures were just above freezing. It was about 1 or 2 degrees or something like that. Very wet, very damp, quite windy too actually. And it showed that with that super shelter and the same kit that I used last time and the candle, I could take that wool blanket down to those temperatures and be comfortable. Take that, and so that kind of showed to me quite clearly what the difference was between camping out with and without super shelter. So on that basis, I'm calling that a success. Now Des opposite me had a fire burning, and that was a real game changer. He had that about 1 metre in front of his shelter, and his shelter was like an absolute sauna. He was sweating in there, I think. And then my shelter was about 3 metres away from that, and even I was still feeling the warmth of that. And for an hour or so I didn't need to have the blanket over me because the warmth of that fire was radiating across to my shelter as well. So it was fascinating to see how those shelter systems work in practice, and yeah, lots of lessons learnt there, I think. But that was my last camp of the year for 2021. Notwithstanding lockdowns, I've been able to get out once a month, every month, and I'll be continuing that into next year as well. Now I've not got a camp planned for January, but I shall certainly be getting out. And one thing I can tell you for absolute certain is I won't be going out with just the wool blanket again for a little while. I'm going to be taking some luxuries out with me, making camp a bit more comfortable than my last couple, let's say. Cooking some decent food, decent camp setups, and yeah, just be a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more luxurious, I think. One of the things behind that though is that I've got a nice new wax canvas tarp to play with, so I'm looking forward to that, and setting it up and using that on some nice winter camps as well, where I can have a fire a little bit closer to the tarp in those instances as well. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And then in February, I've got some exciting plans in February too. I'm going down to Bodmin Moor for a camp at some point in February or mid-February, and then before that I think I'm camping up in Suffolk with some of the Essex boys that are known about on YouTube, that you see on YouTube, Mr. Tightwad and Co. So I'm looking forward to catching up with those guys as well, and hopefully, fingers crossed, meeting Baldrick, Eddie's dog. That'd be quite cool. But yeah, I've been waffling on for 10 minutes there, just to make a little add-on to sort of round off the video from the weekend. I'll go to work and edit this all together now, and hopefully get this up shortly. But yeah, once again, a big thanks to Neil for organising the Mors camp, and thanks to everyone that went to that camp as well for being good company, and hopefully we'll catch up again soon. So I'll bid you farewell, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.